So this is it for today's video, and the next time that I will try. Hello everyone, today that I have prepared a special video which will introduce you to Indian masala. Basically that this is various Indian spices which are very essential in Indian cooking. So every day my maid also uses a lot of these ingredients into each and every cuisine. So when you look at this, it's something very unusual and exotic, which you have never tried out any of Indian cuisines. This would be a little bizarre and maybe ecstatic. So today that I have made arrangements on this tablecloth, each and every masala that I have at my place, and we're gonna go over just one by one with a brief introduction and breakdown of what is good and what sort of health benefits each of the ingredient has, and also how it can be used especially in Indian cooking. So let's get to it. So I have beautifully set this up for my video of today, and I will walk you through that very essential that Indian spice. So the first one, what we look at here is a green leaf, and this is called curry leaves and Kadhipatta. Sorry. So my apologies. I'm still learning Hindi. I have a long way to go, and then my pronunciation would be a little terrifying. So please bear with me. So these are the leaves of Mariah the Konigi, in the category of the plant which this grows from. And this is available as a dried herb. So even if you slightly touch upon this, it has a very strong flavor and fragrance. So pretty much every part, especially that the southern belt of India, Tamil Nadu and then Karnataka, which state that I currently belong to. And this is best used fresh. So you have to make sure that this is kept in fresh environment, and this can pretty much go into just all sorts of the dark cuisines, Indian lentil cuisine. So the first or second stage of cooking that this is mostly used with other onions and ingredients in your tadka spices. Just people call it tadka. So you must have heard of yellow tadka, dark tadka. Yeah, that is the same terminology. So this is to impart a pungent and citrus-like aroma. So I personally am a huge fan of this Kadhipatta. And then when we have exotic South Indian cuisine, in particular the fish curry, I never take this out. So this is also essential for me. And next one that we look at here is also. So first of all, in English is green cardamom. This is Choti llayachi. That's how people call it here. So when you look at this and smell it, it also has the zesty and very electrifying, stimulating the fragrance. This is abundant aroma, as I said, and then this is known to reduce and regulate the blood sugar balance and improvements in liver health and inflammation to fresher breath. Yeah, so this is also used to freshen up your the bad breath or something like that. So according to Ayurvedic medicine, this cardamom may help with blood sugar management and also lowering blood pressure. And not only that, it improves your liver health, as I previously mentioned, right? And then normally people, how to use it is grind this into a salad, and also you may infuse this in a tea, which I also use in making masala chai at home, or for any other use. So this is also essential. And the next one is what you here look at. This is orange or yellow color. I have previously introduced this Indian spice when I made the homemade face mask. Yeah, so the Haldi and orange peel powder pack that I will also link it up, so you can refer to that video as well. So this Haldi has been known to have a lot of healthy properties, and then this has been surprisingly introduced to Korean people as well. and it is one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant spices out there, which you could maybe possibly find in any other places. It possesses anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties and say to give your memory and mood a boost. That's why that it may be just like the legend has it, that's this primary reason of Indian populations like having been reported like to have the lowest rate of Alzheimer's disease. Yeah, because it helps like, you know, your memory, the containment. And the next one that what I'm holding in my hands is Tej Patta. Actually, like there is like, you know, fun story that I never knew that this is also like one of the Indian spices, like which you put in like curry and any other like, you know, Indian cuisines. But after I came to this new place in Bidar, like, you know, one like fine day, she asked me that whether I have this Tej Patta at home, and then I was actually forced to go get this like at the market. That was the moment that I came to know this like in my, you know, for the first time in my life. So this is used in much the same manner as like if you may have probably seen in any of the European countries, that this is can be easily found in European Bay, and this can be also included as a whole leaf, like a leaf as itself, and for the length of the dish, usually cooked, and then it goes in the beginning of the cooking process and then removed just before you're serving. Its aromatic flavor is very reminiscent like of cinnamon and clove. Yeah, so if you smell it, you can actually feel the mix of both ingredients. And the next one is that this Fennel. This is called Saunf. Yeah, like again, that forgive my the poor pronunciation. This is a grade as a whole spice in tarka, that Indian cooking process. Like mostly that begin with other basic ingredients and then the fried with other spices as a whole in a high heat flame. So this is another key ingredient in the flavoring of Madras and other curries. Like Madras is the southeast part of the Indian subcontinent, which is close to Bay of Bengal. And Indian restaurants often use like this candied fennel. If you have seen like at the Indian restaurant after you dine, that they normally offer the customers like to with this spice to freshen up the mouth after the dinner. So this can be considered just the mint, yeah, the mouth freshener. And then we gonna move on to the star anise. So this is like Chakra Phul in Hindi and tastes like fennel, like which I just introduced to you, but sharper and less floral. So you fry this spice, and this is the key seasoning of the incredible tamarind chutney that you will find in many other Indian restaurants too. This is a side of dipping sauce when you buy chapatis. It's Indian like the atta, the bread, like staple food, or samosas and other Indian maybe street type of foods. I also pretty much enjoy like putting this like in my masala tea at home. So this is like, you know, this has been common to my life. And the next one is like Carom, like that is like Ajwain. This is like Ajwain. This was like very exotic to me, like when I first like stumbled upon this spice, because each tiny common fruit has a huge amount of like thymol like in it, and this gives it a flavor a bit like thyme, which we know like as like, you know, the herbs, but several times like much stronger than that. And then this is usually fried first and imparting a smoky flavor and balances well with other Indian spices such as cumin seeds, mustard seeds, and the other assertive flavors like mustard, cardamom, or cumin. So this is a plethora of like Indian spices, a world of Indian spices that you have to know. And then since we already studied this spice, we're gonna go straight to the mustard seeds. Actually see this a lot in the West Bengal, the cuisines, because whenever I go back to Kolkata, then my mother-in-law like never cooks any of the cuisines without this mustard seeds. That much this is pretty essential, and it has sharp note to many curries and like gives a huge like the massive impact on food, and like many of the whole spices. So this is often flavored for cooking in oil at the beginning of preparing a recipe. That is like tarka process, which we already touched upon. And this one is a little mixed with mustard seeds. So while transferring this like into each little spoon, that it just like popped out and went into it. This is like what it's called cumin Jira. So many people have that I found to start their day with the drinking the Jira water. You just put Jira, this cumin seeds, like in the lukewarm water, like the night prior before you go to bed, and next morning then you can start your day with this Jira water. That this is also known to have a lot of like medicinal effects and health benefits. So this is a staple of Indian cooking and curries, and best used whole like any other spices and fried in oil at the beginning of a dish, which is aka tarka, right? And ground cumin powder is also an essential spice. That makes it become key ingredient in garam masala spice mix. So, and the next one is like, yes, strong, the red, as you probably may have guessed, this is red chili, and people call it like anything spicy, which I have come across, is known as like mirchi. So this is Lal Mirch, red chili, that hence the name, that because the color is like very strong red. This is a ground spice with a heat similar to cayenne pepper, like which is used and like in any other countries, but like significantly this is like the staple of Indian subcontinent cooking, and though it may be hotter or milder depending on where the chilies come from. So you're gonna have to be very careful when you just like get to have a chance of like tasting this like chili, like any cuisine like which includes this sort of like chili, depending upon like the regionality, and then it's like where it hails from, like gives a huge the difference, like in difference to the taste, overall taste of this chili, the intensity of the spice, and how they are grown. That also is a key factor that changes like the flavor. And this is more floral than cayenne, and it is a brighter red. And this normally people slowly added this at the end of the cooking process, and when you just have to adjust the heat of your dish like to your preferences. And then since we have like this cloves right here, the cloves like Europeans like when they first like had been introduced to this Indian spice, like they were really caught off by guard, and then as though that they had like found some kind of like gold rush. So that much was very invaluable ingredient, and when you add this too much, you will overpower the other subtler like flavors. So that's the moment that you have to watch over, and the regulation like of the other ingredients that you get to mix like with this. So, and find them in dishes like normally patiala chicken and or biryanis, like Indian style of like mixed rice, and in many aromatic Indian curries. Like, so this gives you a very stimulating, like digestive the flavor of the food that you will have. And then the next one that we go to is Methi, that I haven't been really like prepare the like whole spice like fenugreek. That is also one of the subtle like Indian spices which has like enormous like health benefits. But this is the powder that I had just been little left with, like we bit of like the portion, but that this was like enough to show you guys. And this is like less prone to bitterness, like has a delicious maple-like aroma. You won't believe this before you did like eat any food that which is made with this the fenugreek. So that's the thing. And then lastly, that they also use a lot of like cilantro, the what is like known as coriander leaves, but I currently have no coriander right here with me. The photo for you, and like, you know, pull it up on the screen. So that is indispensable as a flavor garnish for virtually any dish, but go especially well with rich, deeply flavored dals and healthier other meat dishes. So I never like opt this out, I never leave it out. I always try to make sure that we, you know, put at least a little bit of like cilantro that in dal. That is like my absolute favorite. And some people find that, but it has like stark, you know, likes and dislikes, because like people find sometimes this flavor tastes like a soap, literally. Yeah, so that could be a little torture for you if you're first time trying out. And then there is a garlic. Yeah, of course, like there are the garlic cloves that we use. And then of course, like people use ginger. The garlic, yeah, Korean cooking is also incomplete without garlic, onions, like that. So most Indian dishes call for ginger garlic paste. You can easily like get it on the market shelves, and then, or maybe you can just like, you know, grind these like two ingredients together in a mixer or high-speed blender, and then you can just whip that up like, you know, ginger garlic paste. So if you have none, you can cut a 1 or 2 inch length of raw ginger, grated or minced. So this is also essential for Indian seasoning. All right, and when I talked about Hing, like, you know, I just forgot to mention Hing. This will be the Indian spice that it's like the group of like spices that I am like walking you through for today. So this is a digestive aid in India for centuries, and while little scientific research supports its efficacy in helping human digestion, the pungent powder maintains an age-old reputation for settling an happy stomach. So this has like long been used as like a medicine, like when you have a stomach bug or a little like indigestion problem and on like stomach problems, you know, the Ayurvedic doctors say. And in these practices, the people often call for pairing this in recipes dense with hard to digest foods, like, yeah, you probably have guessed it, beans and legumes and lentils, like since like people eat a lot of like these things like as their staple food. So this is it for today's video, and the next time that I will like try and make more videos like which are more relevant to my life in India, and in terms of like cooking and travel, as well as like, you know, the different and like distinct aspects of the general like overall like lifestyle like in here. And then like maybe that I will see you that what sort of like masalas are exactly used, and how that is this like all of these like, and some of these are incorporated into everyday meal in maybe what I eat in a day video, or how to make masala chai, the recipe video, like, you know, sort of like those, you know, the thought-provoking like things, so that you can actually like check out that how these ingredients are, you know, utilized in everyday life. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.